Okay, so jumping into foundation here. If you make sure your index file is open and come down to where it says div class equals row and header, that is our first instance of foundation. And foundation uses rows and columns. So basically right here, if you look right here, this div opens up right here. So we have a div class of row and headers. We can give our div more than one class name, which is what we're doing here. So the header is for we can so we can target this div within our CSS. So for example, say we wanted this div to be 500 pixels high, just for example. So in order to do that, what we would do is we go into our CSS file and look for a div named header. So if we come over here, I don't know if I have it in, it wasn't necessary, but say we wanted to give it 500 pixels, we come down here and we go, it's period header, and period means class, and then we would just go height 500 pixels. So that name is for. That's why this is here. So we can target it and style it. Now, I just wanted to show you that real quick, just so you don't get confused why there's two names here, row and header. The row is necessary for foundation to work. So again, the div starts right here and then it ends right here. So if you see header and then we've got end header, I put notes here to let you know where it ends so you don't get confused, because if you don't put these type of things here in your code, you'll get, if you have something that's 2, 3, 400 lines of code, you're going to start getting real confused. So make sure you always give yourself a little note there. So anyway, so if we jump over to the foundation page, it's going to be a little bit easier to visualize it. So this is over on the foundation documents, and if this is totally new to you, I know this is probably looking like a bunch of just crazy code, but I promise you it's not. It's very simple. This page right here actually it clicked for me because I'll show you why. Because before this, I really didn't use found any frameworks. I just kind of did it all. I made things responsive just by using a bunch of percentages. And we won't go down that road. I don't want to confuse you. So if we look here, this is an example. They're going to show us an example here. So if you look right here, we've got row. Okay, the row begins right here, just like in our code here. We've got a row. Okay, so it's this div class of row starts right here. It ends right here. They don't have their little note here letting us know it ends, but just know it ends right here. So just pay attention right here for now. Nothing below this, just this right here. In this row, we have 3 more divs. Okay, and a row can be up to 12 columns wide. Just remember that. A row in foundation, when you're using foundation, every time you write an instance of row, it can be up to 12 columns. If you look here, these little individual classes here, or these divs, they have a class of large 4, class large 4, class large 4. Well, 4, 4, and 4 equals 12. So they fit nice and evenly inside this row because a row is 12 columns. And these 3 divs right here make up 12 columns because they're 4 columns wide. Each one of these divs are 4 columns wide. Now, to help visualize it, if we go down, it actually shows it right here. This right here from this corner right here all the way down to this corner right here is this row. Is this row that we were just looking at. So if you look inside this row, we've got a div here, a div here, and a div here, just like this code says. Don't look at the small right now. That's for mobile, and we're not gonna. I don't want you to get too confused. Let's just pay attention to large for right now. So just to visualize it, this really helped. This is what clicked for me. You know, last year when I was starting to research foundation, this made it click for me. And you know, we can go on. You know, okay, so erase this out of your mind. Let's go down to the next. Another row right here. It ends right here, right? So within this row, we have a div of 3 columns, a div of 6 columns, and another div of 3 columns. So come right down here to visualize it. Here's our next row from right here all the way down to right here. We've got a div of 3, a div of 6, and a div of 3, just like the code says here. That's it. That's simple as that. I mean, it's really easy. And now we don't always have to have 3 either. We don't have to have 3. We can have, you can have within a row. You can have 12 individual divs within that row of just 1 column each. Because remember, a row is 12 columns wide. Is up to 12 columns wide. Now, we don't have to have 12 columns inside a row either. So that's another thing that we can look at as we get a little farther down in our code. But just know a row can be up to 12 columns wide. So I wanted to clarify real quick before we go any further. So with the row, I've kind of probably said it in a way I shouldn't have. A row is, the row's width is dictated by our CSS. You know, before I said a row can be 12 columns wide. Well, it's kind of semantics. Really, a row is as wide as we declare in our CSS, but within a row, we could fit 12 columns in there if we wanted to. So to show you, if you go back into your CSS file and we come down to right here where it says Foundation Responsive Framework Styles. I know I've said don't change this until you're comfortable, but this is one thing that is safe for you to change if you want to. You probably don't even need to right now, but I want to show you. Here's our row right here. Here's our class of row. So we're declaring some styles here for our row. So if we go back to the index file, go right back here to our header and row that we've been looking at. Div class of row. We go into our CSS and we come down to find that class of row. We are giving it a width of 100%. So what that means is it's going to start on the left side of your screen and go all the way to the right side of your screen. Take up the whole entire width of whatever it's being viewed on. Unless we come down here and we give this style here max width of 1280 pixels. So what we're saying is a row can be all the way 100% wide, but it can't go any wider than 1280 pixels. I know that kind of sounds funny, but this is how we make things responsive. We got to make sure it says width 100%, but we also can declare it cannot go any wider than 1280. Margin left auto, margin right auto, make sure that this row is in the center of the browser. Just know that. We're not going to get too, we can make a whole, months of videos on CSS, but this isn't really what we're not going to try to learn everything about CSS, but just know margin left and margin right makes it centered. So definitely, you don't want to mess with that. You want to keep that there. But this right here, max width, if you want to go wider, a lot of times I'll go, 1460. Just depends on the project. 1280 is a pretty good width, probably for you to start with, so you probably don't need to change it. But I did want to show you that, right now it's a max width of 1280. So to visualize that, let's go over to our landing page. And here's a great tool that I definitely recommend for starters, not even starters, for everybody. This is a great tool for Firefox. If you use Firefox, if, once you install this tool called Firebug, once you install it as an add-on, you can just go up to Tools and then down to Web Developer and then Firebug. Open Firebug. And you can examine all the elements on this page, and it really helps you visualize things. So what we're going to do is right now, here's the body. Okay, as you can notice, as you scroll over the body, it's highlighting it basically for you, saying, hey, this is the whole body here. So everything in blue right there is the body. We can tap this, and this is what we need to find right here. As we hover over our div class of row and header, what we've been looking at in our code, it's going to visualize it for us. So there we go. You can see right there that our header is 1280 pixels wide. It has a margin left, margin right to center it. So I just wanted to kind of show that to help you visualize it, and also just know that we could fit 12 columns within this row. So I hope that's helped. These are helping you understand it better, and it's sinking in. I just wanted to clarify that.